again, that was the B-side of Let's Go Crazy. How do I know? It might either Let's Go Crazy or When Doves Cry, but it was definitely a B-side from the Purple Rain era and back before all of my vinyl got ruined. I had the little light purple 45. So I actually had it as a B-side that I used to play frequently. I love that song. And hopefully that put a little tap in your toe as you are getting your Friday up and running as well. Prince with 17 Days. This is Stephanie Renee welcoming you back to today's TGIF edition of The Mojo. We are transitioning into our Reelblack Radio Hour. And Mike Dennis is in the house.
Hey, y'all. Now I was looking on the track listing for the reissue of the Purple Rain. Now, you didn't go out and buy that, did you? You refused to give Prince any more of your Purple Rain money.
There are some deluxe editions that I may invest in over this long weekend. D'Angelo released a deluxe edition of Brown Sugar with remixes as like a whole second disc.
Oh, okay.
I saw that on iTunes last weekend, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was coming. So, there are things that might make their way into my collection. But no, I have not yet bought the anniversary edition of Purple Rain.
It's got all the B-sides and long versions. Now, there's no long version of 17 Days on this 3-disc set. Actually, 4 discs if you include the DVD.
Okay.
But there's it was one of the best issues so far this year.
Yeah.
So
is that available for digital downloads, or would I get the movie as a
Oh, I don't know how that works, but I know the whole album is on like Spotify and all those like free streaming services.
Gotcha.
If you want to preview it.
Well, I will look into it.
Spending that $25. $25 goes a long way in this day and age. So, but yeah. So oh, good morning. How are you doing? So I was just saying I need a meme. Now you may think I already have a meme with Baba Dick, but I need
you need an official one.
I feel like I'm going into We're going into season 15 of Reelblack in October, and I don't feel like I'm famous enough. And I think a meme would do it. Like I woke up Monday morning. And Issa Rae was trending, and I'm like, well, what's going on with Issa Rae here?
That means you didn't watch Insecure on Sunday night.
I never watched Insecure, but I had to watch it this week because of the meme. She's grabbing her eye. I'm like, what is that about? So lit up Twitter. Shout out to Issa Rae. I mean, this is a PGG rated show. But did you watch the show?
Of course, I watch it every week.
You watched it live?
Yes.
Okay. Was it that funny? I thought the meme was hilarious, and then it went by like that.
Hold on. I'm trying to. I'm plugging us in so that people can actually hear us.
Let me link you.
On Facebook Live. I know that people are traveling and all kinds of things are going on, and now this plug is so freaking heavy that it starts pulling over the phone.
Okay, well, hopefully people can hear us. Somebody give us a nod and a wink on Facebook Live.
Exactly.
Because she just plugged it in. Hopefully there's sound coming through there.
Yes.
Please let us know.
I mean, it's PG, but we can let people understand. So there was this.
You guide the conversation.
There was this theme.
I'm afraid I might say the wrong thing, and it'll just go all black.
All right. So there was this theme about sexual activity, grown folks' business.
Episode 6, Hella Blows was the title.
Yeah, and so that gives you an idea of what specific sexual act was in question. And this whole conversation about Issa being kind of in recovery of her long-term relationship, live-in relationship with her boyfriend, Lawrence, that went south. And so now her response to that, and part of the reason why I find it funny is because I've lived through similar situations. Her response to not being in this long-term relationship is to create what she has called a hotation. Where there are guys that she's not trying to be in a deep relationship with. She just wants to kind of explore her sexuality and find men who are okay with that. And figure out how to navigate within that space. And so, in addition to picking her lineup, if you will, it's about what she's willing to do in the context of this situation.
Exploring her new identity or new liberation.
Yes, kind of, just trying to.
But she doesn't have a lot of luck necessarily. Like she's sort of like
Issa is awkward. So the whole series Insecure comes from a web series that Issa Rae developed called Awkward Black Girl, and she is so awkward it's painful. Like there are moments in every single episode of this show where I cringe. Like, girl, really?
Well, it opened up a lot of discussion. Like, is it realistic, or are people in their 30s still dealing with this? Is this
yes?
Is it
listen,
that much of a stigma?
Mike, we got grown people that think the new standard of relationship development these days is text message. So yes, it really is like that.
So it opens up a discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, more than a discussion, it also talks about expectations.
I just didn't know that a line from like Tribe Called Quest would become a plot point in an HBO series 25 years later.
You can't do that when I'm trying to drink tea. And so there's a certain segment of our listening audience that will know exactly what he is referring to, and I can't.
Well, shout out. R.I.P. Fife.
Yes, Fife Dog. Thank you for that. So, Kayla, I was going to say, are you're trying to work it out? Because we're getting messages that you still can't hear, even though the plug is plugged in. So okay. we're going. So, Sandra, we see your message. We're going to try and work it out. Get this on track. So
well, that was interesting, but the big thing for me was that Issa's been on our show, the radio show, many times.
Yes.
So it was like
it's exciting. She was also a feature for those of you who have in the past patronized Word Radio's Dollars and Cents workshops. We did one on crowdfunding, and we got the folks. In that one, because along with Issa Rae, before the HBO deal was officially announced and solidified, Evie Robinson, also of No Madness Travel Tribe, who has been doing big things. She now has her own line of lip glosses and lipsticks. It's fabulous. I need to check now, make sure Issa's still following me here.
She's got a meme now.
Shout out to Issa Rae, who is
we're happy for her
and honestly,
success.
I stuck it out with season 1 because I appreciated the characters. I just wasn't necessarily crazy about the writing.
Okay.
And the writing in season 2 has been much more engaging. So I'm glad that we gave it a chance. And that
she's got that team. Yeah. Yes. So for the first segment, I just wanted to just quickly go through some people that have been on the show. Okay. Whoa, there goes our TV. It's just one of those
trying to kill my phone.
Awkward, insecure days. Like earthquakes and floods and stuff here. On
Reelblack
Radio.
Those of you who are tuned in on Reelblack Radio, we're getting it together.
Hopefully we're back. Anyway,
so take it away, Mike.
Yeah. So anyway, Issa's not the only person that was blowing up the Twitter this week. We had two friends that were doing crowdfunding in the past month that were super successful at their goal. Matthew Cherry, number one, with that. He called in a few weeks ago to talk about Hair Love, his 3D animation short that he was trying to raise, I think, $75,000 for. And he ended up raising, get this, $284,000. Yeah, it really captured a lot of people's imagination. So, including Forbes magazine, who...
So, we're not going to be able to do the bird's eye view right now because my stand is being very uncooperative.
You might want to tilt that up a little bit. Yeah, because that's...
Can you let me try and work it out? I'm trying to explain to people what they're seeing here.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, he made $284,000 worth of pledges for Hair Love and got a write-up in Forbes magazine. So, big shout out. It's one of the highest successes on, I think it's Kickstarter, in terms of like from goal to surpassing the goal. So one of the largest amounts of money raised.
I know it's a little cockeyed, folks, on Reelblack Radio. We're trying to work it out, but right now I can't talk and work with
trying to
technology.
Do things differently.
It's too much.
All right, and we're still trying to work on the sound, I believe. But and then Numa Perrier, who was just here for Black Star, she was trying to raise some money for Jezebel. She made her goal as well for finishing funds so she can get her movie Jezebel into film festivals this winter. So shout out to all those people that contributed to that. Also blowing up Twitter this week was Tommy Oliver, He's got a series on OWN that he's produced with his wife, Elaine, called Black Love.
Okay. Yes.
4-part docuseries.
Yes, I haven't had a chance to see any of that. That'll be some of my on-demand viewing over the long weekend.
It's one of the highest rated shows ever.
Nice.
And basically, it's a 4-part docuseries where I haven't seen it yet, but he's talking to different celebrity couples about relationships and stuff. So,
yes,
as they say, love is in need of love today.
It is indeed. And I'm glad to know that so many people are tuning in, trying to get some advice. You know, that means at least people are kind of committed to trying to work it out, which is a good thing.
I hope so. Well, you can't have everybody living on different floors in the house. Just can't afford to leave, but can't afford to leave.
Now, I'm saying this because I'm trying to really connect with the people that are listening and watching us on Facebook Live. Though I am not in a serious relationship. I'm not in any relationship right now. But I'm just saying that I've always said that me and my husband, if that is my destiny, are going to have to make enough money where we can have separate bedrooms at some point. Because not that, I'm all about the intimacy, but at some point, because I'm a moody, creative person, I need my own space. And if I'm in writer mode so not necessarily bedrooms.
You put that on your vision board.
Separate space. I need you to get away from me or me to get away from you at some point if I'm in that zone.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
And just not be up under and on top of each other all the time. It would never work. It would never work.
You can't be in one of them tight North Philly row homes. You need a little bit more, or stick him down in the basement with the Atari and the Nintendo.
That's not gonna work. Nope. Because I need outdoor
You need
space.
the basement.
Yep.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I just need space. So row houses don't afford that. Not in the way that
right
I
now
need
somebody's slipping into your DM now. I got plenty of space, girl. Check your DM, Stephanie Renee. Well, good luck with that. More power to you. Love is in need of love today. So shout out to Stretch and Bobbito.
Yes.
Who have a new podcast on NPR. You can get it called What's Good. And they've had some amazing guests on so far. Chance the Rapper was on there, Regina King. But what really blew my mind, had a 47-minute podcast, Stevie Wonder.
Nice.
And with DJ Spinna sitting in. Bobbito and Spinna have been doing Stevie Wonder tributes for 2 decades. So they really dug in the crates. I mean, Stevie being Stevie, but I would say that if you listen to the podcast, stay tuned to the very end, because they pull out a Sarita track and get his emotional response to just Sarita right. So they play Black Maybe for him, and he just goes into this whole space.
So Chance, if I don't know if you've had a chance. I love NPR's Tiny Desk concerts, and when Chance the Rapper did his Tiny Desk concert, he ended with his own version of Stevie Wonder's "They Don't Go Where I Go."
Oh wow!
And he was raspy, whatever, but it was so special.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Just in terms of wanting to do that. He had great background singers, so they really, really did it justice. But hearing young cats who have an appreciation for that depth of catalog, because a lot of people don't know about that Stevie Wonder tune. It's not on when you list your top 20.
It's a deep album cut.
And so just showing that he spent time with the masters.
What's funny to me, like Stevie never talks about where I'm coming from. I guess he basically, when he talks about his career and breaking free of Motown and making his own album, he starts with Talking Book. So I don't. But I feel like people sleep on where I'm coming from. It's like Do Yourself a Favor and all that. Sort of anti-Vietnam protest Beatles covers and all kinds of stuff. It's a great album too. But yeah. So whoa, and the sound just changed. And hello.
Kayla's trying to work it out because, we got Sandra talking about that she's watching us on Facebook Live and listening through radio. So we got some balance things happening. In addition to my cockeyed tripod here.
I know we got to go to,
on the break, we'll do it.
So anyway, and then Questlove has a really dope podcast as well on Pandora, and he had Bismarcky and some really cool people.
He's got my adopted bae. There are people in the industry where I'm like, I just feel such a kinship with them, and they are so my kind of people. And so he co-hosts his podcast with Laia and with Fonte.
Yes.
And Fonte, I love, y'all. I love him, and he's squeezable. So it's
a lot of fun. I mean, and you're talking about Prince. I mean, one of the good podcasts he does with Alan Leeds, who was, and not only Prince but D'Angelo. He was tour manager for D'Angelo, Prince, Chris Rock, and James Brown, and they spent almost 2 hours just talking about his life and career. So there's lots of cool little historical things, like people really capturing people's stories and oral histories through these dope podcasts. So I would recommend that. And that's, it was Questlove Supreme on Pandora.
Yes.
So look for that.
And I will also say that if you don't follow Amir on social media, you're missing out. Because he also did a series of videos for Michael Jackson in various stages of Michael Jackson's career for his birthday this week. And it really was insightful. And, there's these clips that you just got to appreciate. Because Amir feels about Michael Jackson like I do. Like, there would be no me without listening to that music and relating it to where you are at a particular age or a particular part of your creative development. And that's the kind of insight that Amir adds to the conversation around Michael Jackson as a personality, remembering him on his birthday and those kinds of things. So really, really great stuff. So seek him out. Amir Khalib Thompson. Philadelphia's own, and producer extraordinaire.
Two quick things. So, you're talking about?
Well, we got to take a break.
Alice Smith is coming to Tiny Desk concerts. She just recorded hers, and I haven't seen this yet. When Love Kills also was blown up Twitter, which was the TV one based on a true story, directed by Tasha Smith, starring Little Ma. It's like a revenge. So they're going to Lifetime realm, and they're killing it. So
excellent.
Lots of black. Well, it's not black love, but it's like
black storytelling.
Kill your abusive husband, TV. But so black folks is killing it this week on Twitter.
Yeah, killing it quite literally. Yeah. So those of you who are checking us out on Facebook Live, we're going to end this broadcast so I can get my podcast and the sound and everything else straight. So hopefully when we come back on the other side of the break, we will have everything all together. Those of you who are checking us out live on the air, hang tight. Quick commercial break, and back with more of this week's edition of Reelblack Radio on this TGIF edition of The Mojo. We'll be right back. From the album AOI by Onyx, and on the acronym, it stands for Art, Official, Intelligence. That is De La Soul, along with Yummy Bingham doing the hook, and Devin the Dude, I guess, also contributing to the beat. And that is De La Soul with Baby Fat, is how they call that, and PHAT Fat, of course, for those people who need a reminder that it's also a cultural thing, how we get down, and some just fun songs to help lead you into your long weekend as Mike Dennis and I collabo. As they talk about in the song, we collabo on Reelblack Radio here on Word Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM. I believe we have solved the sound issue. So those of you who have been in and out of our Facebook Live feed, you are welcome to rejoin us now. It's, we got some perspective. We got, all kinds of things going on.
Technical difficulties.
Hopefully we have resolved our issues. We do thank you, Mike, for bringing in your iRig so that we can try and give people our official stereo sound again.
Yes, shout out to iRig. Now, if anybody from iRig is watching, y'all should send the radio station a couple of these.
Yes, we need them. But on that note, can I also do a shout out?
Okay.
I want to thank those of you who are looking at us now. I want to thank the folks at NYX Cosmetics. They reached out to me. I do a series of photos through my Instagram.
Every morning.
Yes, every morning. I do what I call my Lippy Adventure. And those of you who follow me on Facebook probably saw the status message where I mentioned that because of my eczema, I kind of started to withdraw. I would do official things.
The makeup would create certain things? Or?
No. This was all stress. And, I just wasn't, I've never been camera shy. Never been microphone shy. You know, this is me that you get live on the air. But because of these dark marks and dry patches on my face, you know, I'd started to kind of reconfigure the way that I interact with the world. And so I started my Lippy adventures as a way of being accountable for taking at least one picture every day.
Okay.
And, you know, being in the process of healing, because I think it's really important that you're not always 100%, you know, and I'm not one to run away from public contact or anything like that.
Geez, I didn't. Let me give you some thumbs up. I've been looking at these pictures and just scrolling past them. All right, let me give you some love, girl.
But in the midst of all of that, I discovered this really rich color palette that NYX Cosmetics has for their lipsticks, and they reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in previewing a new line that they have called Love Out Loud.
Okay.
These cream liquid lipsticks. And I got my care package yesterday. And so today, for those of you who are checking out the feed, I am wearing Passionate, which I love. 6 colors. There are 4 purples and 2 more neutrals, like browns. So leading into the fall, these are great colors for that. But I really, really appreciate the fact that they dig what I'm doing with my Lippy adventures, and chose me as one of the recipients of this. And I got a T-shirt too.
Okay.
And the T-shirt is for it's 6 colors, and they each have these.
This is full disclosure.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count. There's no collusion here. It's what's the name of the product again?
NYX.
NYX. Okay. Oh, NYX.
Like
you also
New
have
York
a picture of that
X,
on your Vibe Mistress Instagram. Yes.
Yeah, but so they sent them to me, and the names of the colors are these empowering words: fearless, brave. Like I said, I got on Passionate, and the T-shirt that they sent me is extraordinary. So if you see me posting that over the weekend, you'll know that it comes from that line. But it's just a really great thing. So iRig, we need more of them here at Word Radio. Okay,
and then dudes that are about to slip in the DMs, I think some lipstick would do it. Stephanie Renee.
I'm Vibe Mistress on Instagram, and my daily Lippy adventures.
That's awesome. All right, so I will make sure that I double tap that every day. So
well, thank you.
This week, not much. This is like school. The summer's kind of officially over. People are going back to school now.
Yeah, next week. So at least the summer vacation season is officially ending. That's what they say.
Well, Temple, I'm in North Philly. Like Temple's starting to bubble up again with kids, and people are moving in September 1st.
For me, it's St. Joe's.
Okay. Yeah, September 1st. Yeah, all the moving vans, and then they're blocking up all the side streets up in North Philly. It's like ridiculous. I tried to go down 17th the other day, and I hit like 8 U-Haul trucks.
Oh, wow.
Just like crazy amounts of, it's students. I wouldn't even call it gentrification, but they're hooking it up. So, this is a slow week for movies. The main movie opening this weekend here in Philadelphia is Crown Heights. Which was a Sundance Audience Award-winning film. Did you have a chance to see it while at any of the screenings? You've been busy.
Getting out to movies is always a thing for me, but I've been seeing a lot of the great press.
Okay.
And, familiar faces.
Yes.
As part of Crown Heights.
So Lakeith Stansfield, who we know from Atlanta, the TV show, as well as Get Out.
Yeah, I know him from Get Out.
He was the guy with the hat in Get Out. Who has to get out now. He's that brother. He stars as Colin Warner, and it's based on a true story. It's inspired by an NPR documentary.
Okay.
A gentleman, Trinidadian, new to Brooklyn, 1980, gets arrested for a crime he wasn't commit. He didn't commit. People testified against him, saying that he helped commit a murder, but he was nowhere near the scene. Mm-hmm. So he ends up spending 21 years in jail. He could have copped out earlier, but he chooses not to. And he'd still be in jail if not for the sake of one friend who just fought, used every resources, and got the community together to basically rescue him. So. Powerful film, very, very important film, sparked a lot of discussion. We actually had Greg Corbin talk to Nnamdi Asomugha, who we know from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes. Kerry Washington's husband.
Yeah, I'm
and baby daddy.
Well, I know Nnamdi is trying to establish his own lane.
Yes, and Philadelphia's own Gary Dardenne is also in the film.
Lots of good actors.
So I mean, so it's lots of tough subject. But lots of familiar faces, great energy, and that's a good thing.
But it underscores a major issue. Like 13th, brilliant film, but it's a documentary. It doesn't really put the human face on what that's about.
Yeah.
It's like literally somebody pulling you off the street and throwing you in a cell, and you're forced to survive. And how do you hold yourself together? Yeah. So this movie, I mean, in some ways, it borrows the same structure as 12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
So I wouldn't recommend watching those back to back because you'd just be in a deep well of depression afterwards, But this movie's uplifting in the sense that Nandi, his character, is the guy that rescues him. He's the guy. So it's like, it takes me in a metaphysical realm. I'm like, wow, this is like, imagine if we were stolen from Africa and somebody just used every power they had within them to like grab us back and take us back. That's how I view the film. It's just a powerful like hero story. Just on another level. It's produced by Amazon Studios, but it is at the Ritz at the Bourse now. And Amazon Studios also released I Am Not Your Negro, I believe. So, this could very well, definitely independent spirit, if not Oscar talk.
Nice.
Very, very, very nice first feature. So, opening also this week, but not here in Philadelphia, unfortunately, is another Sundance movie called Gook. By Justin Chong, which was my favorite movie.
I was going to say, and I know that Ava interviewed Justin for, I can't remember what event it was, but just talking about this whole idea of independent filmmakers being more empowered to tell their own stories, and how the evolution of what she's been doing with Array, and people now really picking up cameras and trying to tell life stories here, how significant that is.
Well, he's shifting the narrative from an Asian perspective. It's set in 1992 on the day of the LA riots. And basically, it's two friends. They run a shoe store in South Central LA. And they have a young girl, black girl, who likes to hang out at the store, skip school and hang out. And it's sort of about their relationship. And then there's all sorts of backstory. But what's the most interesting thing about it is the cinematography and the way that they recreate 1992. Like, I don't know if they shot on film or not, but it has that Super 16 look. It really looks like maybe they just couldn't get the film out the lab, but they shot it in 1992. Like, right. It has that Far Side music video kind of. Well, it's all black and white, but it has a real strong sense of style, and then it goes into this sort of magic realist thing. I definitely, it was my favorite movie at Sundance, and I would encourage people whenever it gets to where you are to check out Gook, and then.
I was going to say hold that because we got to take our final commercial break. And then we'll come back to hear more about recommendations for how you can spend some of your good extra time over this long weekend checking out film, TV, other cultural offerings as they exist going into the long weekend and beyond. This is Real Black Radio here, part of The Mojo on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. We'll be back to conclude this segment in just a moment. From her debut album titled Embrace Me, that is Liv Warfield. And so I tried to give you some bookends in this edition of Real Black Radio. Gave you some Prince at the top, and then gave you one of the young ladies that he was working to groom and to raise up in the music industry to end that. But the song is titled I Decided, and man, I have worn this album out. In addition to the album that she released with Prince as executive producer. She's the bald-headed one, or blonde, very okay. Short blonde hair. Okay. And now she's moved on. In the wake of Prince's untimely demise, she's lead vocalist for a new, I guess you could call it blues and Americana kind of outfit, and I can never remember the name of the doggone group. Not Mumford. But the music is really, really good. She's really talented, and I hope that she continues to find ways to break through. even though she's not doing, pop music.
I'll have to check her out.
Really great. Liv Warfield is her name.
Yeah. Well, speaking of good music, the Kindred Presents has been killing it. They just had, it had Karen White.
Yes.
Last week, and Tony Terry, but
she's a little teeny tiny little woman too, as I could tell from the pictures.
Yeah. Well, she still had it. I mean, and then everybody knows her for Superwoman, that Babyface song, and she killed it. If you watch the Facebook Live feed, you'll see she ripped it. But she also had she's got a new album out. And she was jamming. She was really rocking. So, but check out. I think there's still tickets left this Monday.
I'll be sure.
And Kenny Lattimore.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be crazy, and it's at Warm Daddies on Monday nights. They do a talk show and live performance thing. So
light skinned brothers are back. I'll be sure Kenny Lattimore. I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna make that joke on Monday.
That's a couple's night. Or but a lot of women come out by themselves all the time.
Yeah.
So it's be a table full of people swooning. There's gonna be a fight for that front row and that little corner seat over Warm Days. Nobody's gonna be close. They're gonna be. I think I'm bring the woman from the Apollo. She's gonna come out. I remember you, Al B.
Yeah, listen, it's gonna be a situation, but it'll be fun because.
All right, so so I can't. Thomas Allen Harris is watching. As we speak, he just messaged us on Facebook. He's on his way now. He's coming tonight to screen Through a Lens Darkly. Now he's another friend of the show. He's been on amazing documentary.
He's been in studio with us.
Okay, the history of photography, black people in photography.
Shifted somehow.
And I'm not sure if it's a free screening tonight, but he's going to be at the screening for Q&A, 6:30 p.m., African American Museum in Philadelphia, 7th and Arch.
And tomorrow is a part of the Digital Family Diaspora project. So in addition to coming out and learning more about genealogy, learning more about our stories, people are encouraged to bring a photo that is significant for you about your family in Philadelphia. And I don't know how they're going to do the signups for that, but you might have an opportunity to take some time on camera to show your family photo and talk about its significance to you, its significance to your family. And that's always just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Right. Now, I'm not seeing that one, but I know he'll be at the African American Museum on the 9th, Saturday the 9th.
Oh, okay.
Same thing. So I don't know if he's going to be here. But anyway, check out the African American Museum's website for all that information for sure. And then also opening this week at the Ritz is a movie called Sidemen, which is about unsung musicians, Pine Top Perkins, Hubert Sumlin, these blues guys that play behind some of the greats. And that may be here for, go support it this week. It may not be here next week. Whose Streets is already gone, but Step is still down at the Ritz. So you can support that. And then my friend Donald Cleveland, he pointed out if you have Roku or if you just have a home computer or a phone, episodes of Soul, the Ellis Hazlitt show from the 60s and 70s. It's a PBS show when we were Black and Proud. There are lots of shows like Soul Train and stuff. So PBS had their version. They have lots of PBS had regional versions. The one out of New York was called Soul. And there's a lot of the episodes were lost, but the ones that remain, a lot of them are now on Shout Factory TV or shoutfactory.tv.
Okay.
As a streaming thing. So you get to see episodes featuring Ruby and Ossie Davis. There's a 2-parter, of James Baldwin in conversation with Nikki Giovanni. There's an episode with Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, and then tons of great music. So if you're into that era of black culture, the early 70s, go to Shout Factory TV app on Roku, or just go to shoutfactory.tv for the whole website. It's sort of it's a DVD label, but a lot of their product streams for free with commercials. So you have access to a lot of their films and interesting content. But this was something that
when I bought my Apple TV, I put my Roku away. But I have
one. I mean, the Shout Factory has different apps as well. It has their apps on different things like smart TVs, but it's different versions. So I can't get Soul on the app on my smart TV. but Donald says he's got it on his Roku. So that's why I'm, if you have a Fire Stick, I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. So, so the newer version is the most up-to-date version of shoutfactory.tv app should have that as well.
Nice.
I'll give you a couple of bad rap on Netflix. That was a movie that was at the the Asian American Film Festival last year. Asian rappers. That's on Netflix this week. And I think I mentioned it last week. I Called Him Morgan is also on Netflix. So if you want to stay home.
I saw last weekend, I saw Nat King Cole, Afraid of the Dark.
Oh, you did watch it? I haven't got a chance to. Was it good?
Finally. It was very good. Because it just reminds you of... we kind of take for granted that the artists that we love, if they don't cause a major stir, like if they're not controversial figures, we sort of take for granted that they're going to be around forever and ever. Amen. And one of the things that it just reminded us of is that, Nat King Cole made some real definitive choices in order to further his career, but they still weren't the ones that make you argue over his place in history or his genius. But the idea that he was a preeminent pianist long before he first opened his mouth to sing.
Started singing.
And he decided, because people weren't going to let him be in concert and just play piano. So he made the decision to emphasize the singing over the piano playing. And, as a creative, I understand sometimes that can cause you some heartache. But it was great for him in terms of his career.
Does it deal with the racism and like integrating his neighborhood in Los Angeles and TV?
It talks about that. It talks about the TV show, and
Afraid of the Dark. I figure it's got to do some sort of race prejudice.
So that's highly recommended from me for those of you who have Netflix accounts, just to check out that documentary, because sometimes we forget, and he's been gone for a minute. Yeah. So the impact that people have, the historic television show that he was allowed to produce until the ad dollars dry up.
Couldn't get that Southern money. Nowadays he'd be all over the place because we don't care about having to get certain advertisers to put your show on and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean he and Frank Sinatra made Capitol Records. Like, they were the biggest stars of the 50s.
And they say that definitively in the film.
Yeah. So, and Capitol years later put out the Beatles. So you got to figure if Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra weren't on Capitol, Beatles would have been on VJ. And then black people would have owned all the Beatles masters that's an alternative universe. But that's geeky stuff. The first couple Capitol didn't want to put out Beatles records when the Beatles first dropped. So a black-owned record company called VJ Records, who also put out like the Impressions, they had like the first 4 Beatles singles in America.
Wow. Yeah. That I did not know.
And they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
They shut them down. They're like, we need that back. It's not yours. We're just borrowing space. But and then, for those now, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, there's always these
Think about whether you want to end with this, because this is going to be our last moment. Well,
Mahershala on True Detective, shout out to him. But and then Ava's going to be at Urban World. If you're in New York, get your Urban World tickets, and they're also going to have Thurgood. Yeah, so I don't know how to feel about this. So, there's all kinds of realms. There's new avenues opening up all the time for distribution of films.
Yes.
Right. So I guess, if you're going to sell your movie, what the top would be, Netflix or something like that. Like Netflix is giving out hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're doing well in the finance department. If you're trying to make your money, Netflix is it.
Right, and then maybe like if you don't quite hit Netflix, you say, well, at least maybe I can get on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be like the next one, and then maybe like Hulu would be like third, maybe or something, or even HBO. Like you just go right to HBO or something.
Well, I would put HBO over Hulu, but okay. So where are you going?
Okay, so.
I'm bracing myself, y'all.
Nick Cannon has a new movie, King of the Dance Hall, exclusively on YouTube Red.
Oh.
You have a YouTube Red?
No.
Okay.
They are, every time I log on, they're trying to get me to sign up for it.
They have like 3 movies, and they run the same. You need to get YouTube Red, right? So before, like for 6 months, it was like some kids in a concentration camp where they had to pass a test in order to be filtered through, and I kept seeing that commercial. Now when I log on, it's King of the Dance Hall with Nick Cannon and Busta Rhymes. It's like his version of it's like City of God meets Lambada.
See, I was trying to give the serious skeptical face here to our friends on Facebook Live, and now you've taken me to a whole
Well, anybody with
place.
YouTube Red, if you can give me the code, because it's the only way I can see it, and that might be a good thing. It's like it's hiding behind this paywall. You got to pay YouTube $10 a month for the right to see.
YouTube is not going to get $10 a month from me.
No,
They're just not.
never.
They're just not. So
They kind of set it up wrong. It's a bad business model.
See, you're one of those people that goes down the rabbit hole with YouTube. I can't. I don't like sitting in front of my computer that long. It just that does not work for me.
Well, you have it on your smart TV or something.
I mean, yeah, I do that with Netflix. I'm not looking to have a whole bunch of these different. No.
I'm just saying.
No.
It's sort of like
No.
I took a business class. I'll let you go. We'll wrap it up, but. They started business class. They said, I was going to start a magazine one time. And they said, like, even if you give your magazine away for free, put a price on the cover. Because at a certain point, if you decide to sell it, there's still a value there.
Right.
But you can't say free magazine, like Reelblack magazine free, and then 6 months later be like $250, because then you'll just go out of business.
Right.
And I feel like that's what YouTube did.
Well, exactly. It's like we've been getting free content from them forever and ever. Amen. Now all of a sudden you want to make people $10 a
Plus
month.
they put everybody's stolen stuff on there. There's so many Netflix movies on YouTube for free, and then they want me to pay $10 for Nick Cannon. Come on.
No.
All right. Anyway, Nick, send me a link. All Def Digital, send me a link. I'll watch it because I'm just curious. And Nick was one of the first people that I ever interviewed.
Listen, I appreciate Nick Cannon's hustle. He is definitely not gonna go away silently into the night. He's one of those people that's going to constantly look for his next come up and be a part of the industry in whatever way he's able to make happen. So I appreciate that, but not YouTube.
I'm sure the offers were pouring in after the Toronto Film Festival, and Nick said, I think I'm going to go with this Red. Netflix, nah. I'm going to go with Red here.
And before we offend someone who might be a future guest on the program, we're going to end that right
look,
here.
Nick could shut me down. I need a meme. So if Nick wants to make a meme of me clowning him, be my guest.
Mike is determined that's going to be his pathway to success.
I'm
is to
just
have
a squirrel
another
trying
meme
to get
go
a nut.
viral.
And then Nick Cannon said, and it was like crying Jordan, Mike. Anyway.
And on that note, we are done with this week's edition of Real Black Radio. We appreciate those of you who've been hanging with us through our technical difficult. But now Mike has got the iRig, so that means we'll be back in stereo sound for you as we continue to check in with you on Facebook Live for our weekly episodes. And next Friday, we do it again.
Absolutely, yes. And if you're free, we give you all kinds of suggestions. But if you've not seen Through a Lens Darkly, try and go tonight. Please go tonight
At the
African American Museum. It's an amazing film. It'll make you feel so much more powerful about yourself. And then Crown Heights, the same thing. If you really want to, open your eyes in terms of how an empowering hero movie where Black people actually help save ourselves and draw attention to these problems, a very important film. So.
Excellent. And with that, we say so long to those of you who've been checking us out on Facebook Live. For those of you who are listening over our airwaves, hang tight. Quick commercial break and back with hour 3 of today's TGIF edition of The Mojo. Stay tuned.